Hello and welcome to part one of my two-part interview with John Hartson. The full interview is half an hour long. If you want to watch it all at once, I would wait until tomorrow because the second part will be released then. Hello, and today we've got Wales International, John Hartson. How are you doing today, John?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So let's start off. What's your first memory playing football?
Oh, my first memory of playing football, I was very, very young. 3, 4, 5 years of age. My first kit was a Leeds United kit. I had bright orange hair, and this Leeds United kit was yellow. And my mum still got the picture when I was about 3 or 4 years of age, with me with a football at my feet. I don't know why it was Leeds. I really don't know. But I've got this Leeds United kit on with all this big orange hair, and I'm about 4 or 5 years of age, and I've got my football boots on. And that was just in junior school. One of the teachers had taken that picture, and then obviously 6, 7, 8, joining local football teams. And I loved football. Football is my life and has always been my life. My dad played semi-professional, never quite made it as a professional, but my dad was a good player. So obviously I would have got that gene. I would have got the football gene from my dad.
Were you a Leeds fan then, if you had the Leeds kit?
No, I had no affinity to Leeds at all. I think Leeds is a great club. I think it's a huge club. And I think, a lot of respect for Leeds United. I went there for trials when I was 15, 16. But no, I had no affinity with Leeds. I wasn't a fan at the time. I just think that maybe one of my uncles or my cousins, I think they might have just seen a little Leeds kit and just picked it up and thought, oh, this will look nice on John. And then obviously they give it to me as a present and I wore it. But it's quite ironic that, that my mum and dad have still got it, and it's the yellow top, yellow bottoms, yellow socks, and my black and yellow boots. But as I said, I don't know why it was Leeds. It should have been Swansea, or it should have been Wales, because they were the only clubs that was interested at 5 or 6 years of age. But again, I really don't know where the Leeds idea came from.
So what was the first club you played for?
First club I played for, junior club, was a club called Lons. It was just like a little boys club. And I signed for Lons at 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I don't think I needed to sign. You just join in and then you get invited to play on a weekend. And then I progressed, and then a Luton Town scout came and watched me, was quite impressed, and offered me up to Luton, which was 300 miles away from Swansea where I lived. So I'd have to go up there in school holidays, Luton Town, which is in Bedfordshire. And then that's what, the very beginning of my career started, going back and forth to Luton for trials during the school holidays.
Can you remember the first time you were asked to sign an autograph by a fan?
Oh, do you know what? Again, that would have probably come when I was, I can't remember, but I broke into Luton's first team when I was nearly 19. I can't imagine me have signed any autographs before then. It's only when you go into the first team, because even in the youth team and reserves, I wouldn't have signed any autographs. I wouldn't have thought anyway. So when you start getting recognised, when you play a few games for the first team, and then you go shopping in the town, some of the fans recognise you and they come up to you. And I didn't mind, because I practiced my autograph in school on my school books. I always used to practice my autograph. I don't know, as I said, why. I just used to do it in my spare time. I wasn't the most academic. I didn't have the best of concentration in school. Possibly should have worked harder. But as I said, I used to practice my autograph, so I was well adversed when people were asking me to sign, which was no problem.
So you played for so many different clubs. You must play for so many different players. Who was the best teammate you had?
Well, this is interesting because sometimes when you don't have to be the most successful, like some of my best ever teammates were my youth team teammates at Luton. We were all 16. I was from Swansea. Another player was from Newcastle. Another player was from Leicester. One or two other players were from Luton. And we all came together at 16 years of age to start this journey. And you create this bond when you're very young, and we still speak today. We set up these WhatsApp pages and these groups and things like this. So it's people like this would be my best teammates. Although I played with some great players, like Ryan Giggs and Craig Bellamy and Ian Rush and Henrik Larsson and these guys. Sometimes people outside of the game think that they're your best mates, but they're not. They're not. It's the ones that you bonded with very, very early on. And there was a young lad called Tony Thorpe who went on and played for Luton, Queen's Park Rangers and Bristol City. And me and Tony were like that as kids, 16, 17. We did everything together. We went out together. We trained together. We left training. We'd go for lunch together. He'd come to my digs. I'd go to his digs. We've kept in touch. Our families are very close. We go on holiday together. And he's somebody that not many people outside of the football clubs that he played for might know. He's not the most famous of guys, but I would probably say him, Tony Thorpe. Mick Harford was another great friend of mine, one of the professionals that I used to clean his boots at Luton. He was a senior pro. And so it's people like that really would be my best ever teammates, Not the most successful time together, but probably bonded, made that friendship. And it's a friendship that I've had all my life with them.
So what's the best stadium you've played in?
Again, I would have played in lots of stadiums. I've played in every stadium in the Premier League. Celtic Park is an amazing stadium to play football. One of the reasons for that, it's two sections, and it's like a bowl. There's no gaps, and that creates an incredible atmosphere in football stadiums. So Celtic Park was an amazing place to play football. Played there, every single week for 5 years with Celtic. Full houses in front of 60,000 passionate supporters, brilliant supporters. I played at the Nou Camp. I played at the San Siro, which is the home of AC Milan. And Inter Milan, I played at the Millennium Stadium. I played at Old Trafford, Anfield. But I'd have to say my favourite, and I think a lot of players who have played at Celtic Park, I mean world-class, top-class players, will tell you Celtic Park is theirs also because of the atmosphere that the Celtic supporters generate, in particular on them big European nights, in the Champions League and things like this. The hairs stand up on the back of your neck, and that's as a supporter. So you can imagine when that filters through to the players down on the pitch, you just feel it. You can almost taste the atmosphere in the air, and so if I had to say one in particular, I'd say Celtic Park.
So see, on those European nights, did you ever get nervous when you could feel the atmosphere?
Well, if I didn't say I got nervous, I'd be lying to you. So you do get nervous. You do get nervous when you're in the tunnel, and then the anthem comes on, that Champions League anthem, before you line up, and then the teams shake hands, and then it's time to go. And then everybody clears, all the press, all the photographers clear off the side of the pitch where they take pictures of the team. And then it's just you and the ball and the referee, and you're off, So you do get a bit nervous, but I think it's a good thing to get nervous. It means that you care, and it means that, you've thought about what's ahead and everything. A lot of players, some are different to others. Not everybody's cut from the same cloth. Not everybody's the same type of person. some get more nervous than others. I'm sure there'll be other footballers that'll say they never got nervous. But for me, personally, I did get a little bit nervous. Not to the state of quaking in my boots, you know, just a little bit butterflies and, you know, almost nervous with excitement as well. But I think that's pretty natural. That's pretty natural anyway.
So what were the best and worst kits you ever wore?
Kits.
Kits.
Oh, do you know what? Just try and think. I think most of the kits that I wore, you know, I wasn't really overly bothered about, as long as I was playing and I had number 9 or number 10 on my back. The one kit I didn't used to like was the Wales home kit, because it was quite sticky and it was really tight. And I'm a big guy, you know, I'm not a small like Bellamy, little skinny little, you know, guy like Ryan Giggs. You know, their kits used to look quite nice on them because they had the physique. But I was a big guy, so I would have to stretch it out, you know, in the toilet area before I went out on the pitch. Otherwise, it would just look skin tight on me, and I'd look like Andre the Giant, you know, the wrestler. So that was the most enjoyable kit to wear. But I did all right for Wales, actually. I love playing for my country. So I'd have to go the Wales kit. Was probably the most uncomfortable for them reasons.
You mentioned Wales there. What is your best moment playing for Wales?
The best moment for Wales would have been my debut. My debut was in Bulgaria in 1995, 25 years ago. We lost 3-1, and I played against the great Hristo Stoichkov, Lechkov, Kostadinov, all these great Bulgarian players. I went on to have a brilliant relationship with Stan Petrov, who's also Bulgarian, but he's several years younger than me, Stan. So he obviously didn't play in that game. My debut was very special, although we lost. And we also had a great win over Italy in the 2004 European Championships. Qualification to try and get to Portugal. We beat Italy at home, and it was a brilliant atmosphere. 74,000 people at the Millennium Stadium. The roof was closed. Italy had Pirlo, Del Piero, the goalkeeper. What's the famous goalkeeper's name now?
Buffon.
Buffon played. Cannavaro, Nesta. They had some fantastic players. Vieri, I think, was a sub for them that night. So they had some great players, and little old Wales. Nobody give us any credit. We beat them 2-1, and it was a brilliant atmosphere, great night. Arguably my best night in a red shirt.
So what's the best moment of your whole career as a footballer?
Playing for Wales, representing my country, because you can't go any higher than that. You know, you can play in the Champions League, which I did. You can play in the Premier League. You can play in the UEFA Cup. You can play in Cup Winners' Cup. You can play in Cup finals. You can score in Cup finals. You can have brilliant transfers. You can play with unbelievably world-class players, like I was very fortunate to do so. The Henrik Larssons and the Dennis Bergkamps and these type of guys. The Roy Keanes, the Ryan Giggses, you know, I could go on and on and on. I was very fortunate. But representing my country, to me, meant everything, because it's the pinnacle of your career. What it means is that you're the best player in your whole country in that certain position. And, you know, that is a great honour to have. And to have done it over 50 times was very, very special. I'm a fluent Welsh speaker. I'm a very proud Welshman, born and bred in Wales, brought up. I had heroes like Rush, Hughes, Saunders, John Charles, Trevor Ford, all these Ivor Horchurch, was a Swansea City avid supporter, which I still am. So I had lots of great moments, but the highlight was representing my country, because, as I said, you really can't climb any higher than representing your country. You know, you're playing for your children, you're playing for your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents. It's something that's in your heart, and them caps, nobody can take them caps away from you.
That concludes part 1 of the John Hartson interview. The second part will be out tomorrow.